Hello, welcome to Calendaring 101, presented by me, Charlee Martin. Why use a calendar? Organization, time management, and to build a skill. Organization and time management. Is there any data to support that the two are correlated? Based on a poll of 25 people, 88% use a calendar, but only 60% say it helps with time management. I think this proves that anyone can have a calendar, but it's all about how you use it that truly makes the difference. Based on that same 25 people, 36% use a calendar for multiple purposes, and 48% use a color coding system. We are going to discuss color coding systems and how they may benefit you later on in this presentation. Using a calendar and building skills. How are the two related? 36% of people who use a calendar only add event titles, but there's so much more that you can do. Aid organization by using these extra features. As paralegals, we will be expected to account for our time. Build your skills now by using these extra features. We are going to discuss what more you can do with your calendar and what these extra features are in just a little bit. Using Google Calendar. You can create a school-only calendar by using your PIMA email address. What can you do in Google Calendar? You can create tasks, reminders, recurring events, virtual meetings, location and map services, notifications. You can invite others, create event descriptions, and create new calendars. Tasks. By using the toolbar on the right of the calendar, you can create a task list. You can also create different lists by selecting the drop-down arrow next to My Tasks. Tasks are great because you can add a title, a description, and a time and date that you want the task to be completed. And by creating separate lists, you can create a list for each class, one for home. You can keep track of your errands or your general to-do list right here, and it'll populate within your calendar. Reminders. Reminders allow you to set a time, a date, and if it will repeat or not. Once made, they will appear in your calendar like shown in the middle photo. When finished, you can click on the reminder and mark it as done. The reminder will roll over until it is marked as completed. Personally, I use reminders to keep track of my automatic subscriptions. I mark them as done once I see that the money has been taken out of my bank account. This is nice because even though something will be due on the 15th, we know that with banks, it's not always taken out on the 15th. So with the rollover feature, it helps me keep track of my budget and know when money is coming out. Recurring events. Recurring events are perfect for work and school or any event that you have happening each week, each month, each day, honestly, anything that's going to be recurring for a good while. This is a class that I took last semester, so let's take a look at how I filled it out. In the title, I put what class it was. I had Part 212, Law Office Computerization. I set the time of the class and that it was recurring for the entire semester. In this case, I did not use a Google link because it was an in-person class, but if I were creating a meeting with someone else, I could create a link directly through the calendar and invite them to it and share it. That way we'd all be on both of our calendars. I have the location set to the downtown campus. That way it counts for me to help with travel time, or if I needed directions if I wasn't coming from home and I wasn't sure how to get there. I can add a notification. You can add notifications set to a day before, 3 hours before, 15 minutes. It's pretty customizable on when you want to be reminded of this event coming up. I have a pre-selected calendar for Part 212 with the color set to purple. We'll go over how to create these calendars and have these set colors with them. On my calendar, I have it marked as busy, so if I had my calendar shared with anyone, they would see that I was unavailable at that time. And in the event description, I put the location on campus that the class is in, who is teaching it, and any important deadlines. Having your classroom listed within your event description can be really helpful if you are on campus and you forget where your class is, and let's say that your Wi-Fi isn't working. That actually happened to a friend of mine, and they were frantically calling me when class had already started, wondering where class was. Now moving forward, they actually have put their class location in their calendar because you don't need Wi-Fi to access that. Creating single events. This is pretty, what we probably most of us do. You create an event, it's a one-time thing, you can set a time and date. In this case, this was an assignment that I had to do a PowerPoint presentation. When I have a homework, I set it to an all-day event. That way it goes to the top of my calendar, which you'll see shortly. And again, we have all the same features as the recurring event. I have the calendar selected. You could create a location and description and all that good stuff. Adding hyperlinks. This is actually really cool, and I recently started using this. This is a task list that I made for the Paralegal Club. And once I have uploaded our reminder and PIMA Engage, I actually hyperlinked it within the event, just as a failsafe, and that way I know it's there and I know it's done. And you can copy and paste the link into the event description, or you can highlight a word and click on the hyperlink icon to make it show the word like I did here. And you can also attach documents. This was another item I had to do for the club. I send out a weekly newsletter to Gwen Gorbett, the program director, to include in her emails. So you can see here the task was completed, and I attached a copy of the document, just as again as a failsafe, and that way it's there and really easy to access. And you would use the paperclip icon to attach documents just like you would in an email. Okay, adding a new calendar. This is how I create all my different calendars. You can see I have quite a few. I use one Gmail address for everything, for my school, for my personal, all of that. I have unchecked calendars that way they're hidden because you don't need to see all that. But you can see here at the bottom, there is on the first picture, there is a little plus sign. You click on that plus sign and a little menu box pops up, and you click on Create New Calendar. From here, it gives you a little description. You can add a title and then create calendar. Then it will populate in your list. And once you hover over that calendar, it is slightly blocked, but next to that X, there'll be 3 dots that pop up. By clicking on that, you can assign it to a color, and it will always be that color. So when you go to your calendar and you create an event and you select History 101, if you set it to blue when you created your calendar, it'll always be blue. You can change that color, of course, but you never have to worry about changing it while you're creating events. So how can you view your calendar? You can view it by day, by 4-day, by week, by schedule, and by month. This is what the day view would look like. Focusing on one day can really help aid in time management if you just want to see, okay, I have just today, I want to know what's going on. So you can see here at the top, set to an all-day event, I had an assignment, and I have 2 classes. The 4-day view is nice. It gives you a little snapshot of what's coming up without the stress of the entire week. Again, we can see what assignments I had because I put them as all day, so they're right at the top, really easy to see. Here's the week view. The week's automatically set to start on Sunday. This gives you a clear view of what's ahead. You can see here how the color coding can really help. By just a quick glance, I can see what was happening throughout that week. And schedule. This is great for those who are list oriented. Gives you a simple layout. There's no set amount of days that it will show. This gives you a set amount of space to show within those days, if that makes sense. So here I can see a little over a week's worth, and it's just a simple layout. You have my all-day events, that's my homework, and then the timed events, that would be any classes that I had or any other events. Month view. This is great for planning ahead, and again, that color coding really helps you know what's going on. The all-day events will always stay in that nice rectangle block, where your timed events will have that little circle. So again, really just nice to see everything really clearly. So you've made your calendar, but how do you pick a color? These are the important questions. Pick a color that you'll remember, of course. The bolder the color, the better. I'm a fan of pastels, but sometimes in your calendar you need bold to really catch your eye. And some people are more visual and they see words or phrases as colors. For instance, for me, when I was setting up my calendar for last semester, when I had a writing class, I knew that writing is yellow or orange, and my evidence was red. Just because evidence red, that just made sense to me. So what other features are there? There's the printed version. You can link it to an Outlook calendar. Using other virtual meeting platforms. Creating the family calendar. So you prefer a hard copy. Google Calendar does have a print option. The calendar legend above the dates really help you remember which color was which. And if you don't want to see certain calendars, you can just check them off. And you can see my assignments were all the way at the top, set as all-day events. And a little fun fact is that a highlighter is the perfect width to cross those off. Bonus points if it's the same color as the calendar. So, little trick for you guys. Additional tools. You can link to your Outlook calendar. This is my Outlook calendar here in the first photo, and at the bottom there is a little gear for settings, and that's how you would link your Google Calendar to Outlook. And then within your calendar, if you don't want to use Google Meets, there's tons of other options you can use, like Zoom and GoToMeeting and Teams, and just they honestly have hundreds of options. And the family calendar is so amazing. I use it with my family. We're spread across different states. And so for coordinating travel times, it is just so helpful. You can have 6 people on your family calendar, and everyone can access the same information. So when you're adding an event and you select your calendar, you would just pick family, and it would automatically go to everyone's family calendar. This can also be great for any school activities, with your kids, and just staying connected in general. To create, you'll go to families.google.com. Using spreadsheets. This is a spreadsheet that I made this semester, and I do have a template of it. If anyone would like, please just send me an email. The template is within Google Sheets. I made an Excel one, but I found it wasn't as nice. But I do have that too if anyone really wants it. So spreadsheets work well for those who are truly list-oriented. You see here I've created a legend at the top for my classes, and my homework is just listed in those colors, so I don't need to type out PAR 104 Ethics, Assignment 2. I just type in what assignment it is or what I need to read in that coordinating color. The spreadsheets can also be printed, which can be nice because then you get that nice typed up look, but you can physically check off the checkbox with a pen, which I know is a thing, and I appreciate that. So this would what spreadsheets would look like. Okay, now you want to get creative with paper and pen. You're tired of computers. You just want to use a good old-fashioned paper agenda. I get you. Paper planners, what are the benefits? Paper planners are great for those that need something physical in their hands to stay on task. They are great for creative minds since the customizing options are endless. If you can write it, you can make it. To quote Lightning McQueen, and I'm going to go ahead and apologize in advance for this joke, with the little rusties, that's your blank agenda, an insane amount of luck, that's your stencils and your pens and your markers and your highlighters, you too can look like me. Ka-chow! Here is your finished planner. You took a blank one and you made it awesome with some stencils. This is one that I actually made this semester, so I really wanted a very specific look in mind that I just could not find in stores. So I made it myself with 3 time blocks and checkbox lines. So there's my cars joke for you. Don't have time to do that? I understand. That literally took me so long. No worries, there are tons of other options and planners with pre-made designs. I personally love a good checkbox, which is why I opted for the half list, half checkbox style. This is a super small planner I picked up at Target that I use to keep in my bag because it's tiny. And the other one that I made is like massive. So color coding comes in handy again. You're just writing in your pens. You can just write your assignment. Since I had limited space, that's all I did. I just wrote assignment, discussion. But I knew that it was blue for ethics, so I knew what class it would be for. The D2L calendar. I'm ready to use a planner, but I'm not sure how to find all my assignments. No worries, we're going to use D2L. D2L has an embedded calendar and a companion app called Pulse. How to find the calendar in D2L. The calendar is linked in a few different places. You can find it in the D2L homepage or inside each class shell. So here's what it looked like if you're inside your class and that second tab says calendar. From here, you can choose which view you'd like to see: agenda, day, week, month, or a list. And they also have a full month calendar off to the right for you as well with tasks. Here are the different views: agenda, day, and week. Agenda will give you that full description of your assignment. The day will give you that day broken down by time slots. And the week, you get the time slots and with the top bar being the day of the week. And by clicking on that drop-down arrow where it says Pima Community College, you can choose which calendar you want to view. You can also view it by month. So here we have a whole month of all the things I need to do. And the task list that I mentioned before underneath the calendar. You can create as many of these as you want. This is not something that's populated already. This is for you to type in to keep yourself on task. And the Pulse app. The first image shows what the Pulse app looks like in the Google Play Store. It should look fairly similar in the Apple Store. It should have the same logo and everything. Just type in Brightspace Pulse. Once you log in with your Pima credentials, just like you would to log in to D2L or the My Pima page, you'll see your home page here with all of your classes. And then there'll be a bottom bar that may hide when you're scrolling, but it'll be there, I promise. You may have to tap on the screen. And you can go into upcoming, and this gives you a nice graph, so to say, of what is coming up. So we can see on Thursday, I had a lot of work to do, and that is accurate. So this gives you a nice little snapshot. And then if you were to go to notifications, you'll see all notifications that you've gotten, whether it's from your instructors or from Pima Community College. If you get a grade back on your notification, you can click on it, and you can actually swipe to reveal. It's like a little surprise. Or you can click on View Grade. That'll open up D2L in a browser, so you'll get that full page. Resources. Resources are great. If you're having any trouble with the tech side or just not understanding how to use D2L, on your home page, click on the little house on D2L and go to Help. You can go to Help for Students. This will bring you to a web page for D2L and Brightspace support. They have video tutorials, text tutorials, 24/7 support, and a frequently asked question page as well. So what do you think? Will a calendar help you? Do you think a calendar helps with organization? Do you think a calendar helps with time management? And do you think using a calendar is a valuable skill? Thank you so much for joining me on my Calendaring 101 presentation. If anyone has any questions or would like access to that spreadsheet template, please just send me an email. You can click on my picture in Pima Engage and you'll see my email listed there, but it is cmartin61@mail.pima.edu. Thank you so much.